have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? I hope you're having a bloody day send off. Be prepared on the roads. It's always fun, as you know. And I haven't had a glance at what the weather is likely to be, but if it's anything like today, it's going to be bloody hot. And I hope whatever you're doing, you do it with great style, aplomb, and much joy. You might be able to see across my breasts, we have the new shirts. This is the orange version, as you can see, comes up pretty bloody well. I've got to say, excellent, in fact. And I've got the Voice of Freedom logo on the back. Don't know that you can see the heads on the side. And on this side, there's the FBN logo. All come up absolutely swimmingly well. And Vincenzo and I have been busily wurgling away this afternoon on a Kakistocracy T-shirt because I've had so many people say, I want a Kakistocracy T-shirt. Well, look, there's plenty of Kakistocracy stuff, and the T-shirts come in a range of colours. I've just put the blue one up because it's my favourite colour. But if you go to merch.vofhq.com and click on the shop icon there, you will see, well, scroll down a bit because Vince has got all his FBN stuff up above all the other stuff. But, you know, it's just the kind of thing the waving does. And, you know, Monty Python have a couple of words for it. Bloody favouritism. And here he is. Just caught you mid-mouthful, mate. Sorry. So the Waving Wonder joins us, and he has put in a huge amount of work on our website recently with merch and all that sort of stuff. So if you would like coffee cup, if you would like stubby holders, if you'd like a hat, we have FBN merch, we have Voice of Freedom merch, and, of course, now we have the Kakistocracy stuff, which is sort of semi-unbranded, isn't it?
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, depending on which design you sort of want. There's one that's got my head on it or the Voice of Freedom thing on it. If you don't want that, that's cool too. We just want to teach people about the word Kakistocracy because it is, without doubt, an amazingly well-developed word for what it means. And if you look up and do a definition on the word Kakistocracy, you will find that it is government by the worst people. And I think we should be shouting it. We all live in a Kakistocracy, a Kakistocracy, a Kakistocracy. Every time I play that, I get the feeling of Simeon dancing around the Aussie Cossack somewhere in the Russian embassy to that. I don't know why. It's just a feeling I get. Bit sick, really, huh? Should say hello to a few people. The big fella was first in tonight. G'day, Nev. Hope you're doing well, brother. And keep working. You keep promising me. The big fella is talking about putting together something of a show for FBN, and we've got him working in the background on a few ideas. He's got to fit it in between his work schedule and all that sort of stuff, and I don't want to hassle him, so I just want to stir him up, make sure he's keep doing it. So it'll be interesting to see what the big fella can put together. I look forward to seeing it. G'day, Greg. Hope you are doing well, brother. For those of you in the chat who aren't quite sure who the hell I'm talking about. The lovely Deb is in the house, and I think I start a comment from Deb. Who has money on Randy Andy sneaking off quietly? Vince, define sneaking off quietly.
Spiders under the bed? I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Well, he could sneak off quietly to somewhere like the UAE that have already prepared a palace for him out in the middle of a desert where he'll be amply secured, won't have to worry about media, all that sort of stuff.
This is all the stuff for. Right. I've just clicked. I've seen some bits and pieces on that, but haven't actually had a chance to investigate it today because I've been otherwise tied up with family matters.
Randy Andy has been arrested, like this time last night, our time. He spent a little under 12 hours in custody while they charged him with suspicion of crimes based around his trade envoy days. And they believe they have evidence that he shared secrets, British trade secrets, to Epstein in return for favors. So that's why they have arrested him. It's not a charge that they're going to lock him up for and keep him in jail until somebody comes and pays a bail for him and they bond him out. It's nothing like that. They've let him go ostensibly. They've charged him, said there is an investigation going on. You won't be able to hinder that investigation. They've probably told him not to leave the UK. And the king, in all his wonderfulness, has said, oh, well, the law must be allowed to do what it does, or words similar, and probably less cleanly spoken. And he's washing his hands of it. Haven't heard a word out of anybody else. But Andrew did have I should have taken the photo that they took the photo. Beautiful photo of him as he was swept away in a black Range Rover. He tried to lay down in the back seat, and somebody's got a photo in between, like through the front window, and got a photo of him lying down. And fair income, he looks like he has just come out of the Blitz. He looks shell-shocked. His eyes are just wide open. Absolute horror.
Slow down on
the look
Carl
on his
there,
face is, well, for those of us that enjoy this sort of thing. Oops, I seem to be dropping out, and is that because I'm on the? I'm going to remove a few of the things I have sitting here in the background.
He's just cleaning up the signal a bit, guys. So while we're waiting for that, I'll just quickly jump onto property taxes question here, which was,
right.
Do we only have one ATM in the country?
Just try to clean it up.
Yeah. We only have a half an ATM. No, I'm kidding. We have lots of ATMs in the country. In fact, most of the smaller towns nowadays, the banks have left, and all we can do to get money is from the ATMs that are left in the place. So there's lots of ATMs in Australia, so no need to worry about that at all. Interesting that you think we'd only have one. I've got a picture in my mind right now of a kangaroo with an ATM in its pocket jumping around to each state so you can get your money. All right, so Prince Andrew got arrested, apparently, then got let out. And I'm not fully au fait across the story, other than it's got to do with documents and not other miscellaneous stuff that we sort of all know he's doing. And it looks like Carl might be back. No, he's still in frozen mode. Oh, maybe not.
No, I'm movable. I'm moving. I'm talking. I'm weaving. I'm dodging. But are you actually hearing me?
Yes, I'll do a professional handover. And now back to Carl.
Sorry about that. I've had to switch over to the space technology to come back on. For some reason or other, Telstra's being attacked. But anyway, we're very grateful for that. So property tax slavery, love your word. USA, do we only have one ATM machine in the country? No, we have a lot of them, but we don't have too many free ones. If you are coming to this country and planning to use an ATM, and it's going to have some sort of an affiliation to your bank back home in the States, you can expect to pay a fee at the ATM of anywhere between $2.50 and for an international, maybe as much as $5 to $7 per transaction. And bear in mind that these ATMs, in most cases, not in all, but in most cases, are limited to only $200 per transaction. And if that means you need $300 out, you're up for, well, in fact, I had to do that today, and I had to pay $7 in fees because I had to make 2 transactions to get $300 out of a $200 machine, if you know what I mean. So unless you go and can find a bank that drops the fees for you, and in my case, there isn't one near me that I'm able to go to, then you wind up having to pay these fees, and the fees are freaking exorbitant. Having said that, I've never been too harsh on them, because a mate of mine who I used to drive limos with took up a business where he and his family, I think, got involved and bought a number of ATMs and rolled them out to businesses around the Gold Coast when the Australian banking system was busy rolling theirs back out the door and away from people. So the Australian banks have decided they don't want to be involved with ATMs because it's plant and equipment and cost and maintenance that they have to keep up with, and they haven't developed the robots for that yet, or the algorithms. So it's much easier to sell that business off to people who are prepared to invest in those smaller ATMs that you find in, malls and convenience stores and that kind of thing. But the problem with that is that the people who own them become responsible for filling them. And I know on the Gold Coast, particularly in the early days, if it was a big weekend, then my mate was forever driving around filling up these cash machines. And therefore, you've got to have the cash to be able to do that. Now, he was lucky enough to not look too ugly or silly or stupid or rich enough to be driving around with what might be at times $500,000 in his car while he pops in and out to fill up these cash machines. Now, touch wood, he's never been robbed or anything like that. They're all in very open, accessible and cameraed areas. And after all, ATMs are not the easiest things to get into if you are going to rob one. But that's the system here in Australia. They've been privatized. And he makes, I think, $3 from every transaction, unless it's an affiliated bank with somebody they've done a deal with. And I think through his machines, I can access NAB and Westpac for nothing, but anything else, ANZ or Commonwealth, not that I've got Commonwealth accounts or ANZ accounts, but access that way. So hope that answers your question a little bit. Probably gone overboard, have I?
Oh,
nice to have somebody from the States in, though. Nice to have somebody from the States in. Thank you. Really, really good to have you in. And get yourself a T-shirt, although it'll have the Australian flag on it. You might wonder why we've got something that says, "You burn it, we'll wear it." We have a militant group here in this country that likes to run around burning the Australian flag. They have their own flag called the Aboriginal flag. And I can't be sold one of those. I can't find anyone who will sell me one anywhere. Mainly, I think, because they may have heard that I want to go and burn it. Because if you're going to burn ours, we're just going to wear it.
Yep.
And there might be a new shirt coming out soon, thanks to Skipper.
Don't give away too much. Don't give away too much. Got to keep the.
We've had a design idea sent in, haven't we, Vince?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure out how we can make that happen. So
and not get charged as a hate group.
And not get charged as a hate group. Yeah. Lovely to have you on board from the States. Tell your friends, and we'd love to learn more about what's going on in your part of the world. So please reach out and give us some intel on what's happening in your part of the world if you can. Carl@vofhq.com. Very keen to hear from people who are living in the States, not the media types, not the influencer types, not the people who want to have their name up in lights, so to speak, just real people who are dealing with the shit that's happening on the ground every day. And if you know or are one of those people, we would love to talk to you. And I guess by that handle, you've got a fair idea of what's going on in the world. And you might enjoy a piece that I'm going to come up with here very shortly. We'll have a bit of a discussion about. We're going to find out how you discover whether or not the people around you are awake in any way, shape, or form. We're referred to as truthers. So one of the biggest problems that we have in any movement, the truther movement, is the normies who don't believe anything or very few bits of what we might believe. But how do you gauge them? Some of them believe bits and pieces. Some of them believe half of it. Some believe less than half. How do you do that? So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that shortly. It's worth hanging around for. Deb's ordered a gold one. Hang on.
No, he's going to go. He's going, yep, okay. Well done, Deb.
I can show you, Deb. This is the back.
Yep, and we have nothing. Not yet. That's it. There. That's the back. Yeah, we can see that.
That's the back. And I'm trying. That's
put it
the
up
front.
against your chest, mate. No, put it up on your chest. That's it. That works. Yep.
That one.
There you go.
Can I just say sizes? Right. While we're talking about it, I'm having a bit of a moment here. Right. I have got 3XL. I got 3 because the shirts we got last time I thought were just, I wasn't really chuffed with the quality. I mean, they were okay, but the sizing was a bit weird, I thought. So I got 3XL this time round. These are big on me. Okay. So, and I'm pretty big. I mean, I'm at least a D cup. So, so just be aware that they are bigger sizes. Now, our sizing goes from extra small up to 5XL.
On some of them.
On some of them. Yeah. And this is a 3. And I have so much room in it. It's not really baggy. I've got it tucked in. So it's not hanging out. And even if it does hang out, it's only hanging out to mid-pocket length. So it's not terribly long. But it does hide the bits that sag over parts I wish they didn't. And not a bad kind of a look, you know.
Yeah, it actually came up really well.
I particularly like these bits. I'm quite enamored with them.
That's nice. Show us the other side.
And this printing thing, right? Well, it's just got me on it. But this style of print, this is something a little bit different. It's called a flex print. DT. Was it DT?
DT Flex. Yeah.
Yeah, DT Flex.
DTG Flex. Graphics.
Yeah.
DTG Flex.
So it felt like a bit like one of those rubberized iron-on patches, and that is in effect what it is. But the quality and the style of it is very different to anything I've ever seen before. I've been wearing this all day. It's been a warm day. When I was out wandering around, I found myself getting a little bit sweaty, you know, well, I don't have a cleavage, but
you just said you had D-cups.
I do have a cleavage. Shut up. Stop pulling me up. But it wasn't that bad. Like I wasn't wringing wet under here and then dry here. So felt that was quite good. Yes, I could notice they were a little warmer on the patch on the back. And we are going to put shirts up that do not have anything on the back or might not have anything on the front or won't have anything on the sides. At the moment, everything's got everything all patched up because both Vince and I are quite enamored that we can do it. But it might be a bit overkill. And, you know, it's not like we're starting a race team here and we've got to put all the logos up. However, if you are at all interested in sponsoring FBN or the Voice of Freedom, would like your logos on shirts, have we got a deal for you? Yeah,
have we not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Cackristocracy shirt doesn't have anything on the back.
No, Cackristocracy shirt has nothing on the back, and it has. It has. Oh, I should have shown you what it has on the sides, shouldn't I?
Got them there.
I'm just going to have to share the screen here for a minute.
This one, other than Carl's big head on doesn't really show much sponsorship by us at all. So
this will show the side. So we've got Australia, Land of the Free.
Put it on the screen.
Didn't I put that? Can't you see that?
Hang on, let me add you to the screen. There we go.
Oh, there you go. I didn't add me to the screen. I'm sorry. Let me go back and I'll zoom in on it. So there you go. That's got that on one side, which is Australia, Land of the Free. And then on the other side, I'll show you that one. It has the beer tax and the gas tax is this fair, and Cackristocracy on the arm. So that'll give you a bit of an idea of what's on that shirt. Let me go back and find the right bloody screen to be on. I've got so many I am on. So there you go. And the prices, Vince, I forgot. I suppose I can just have a look, can't I? I think depending on how how big you are.
Yeah.
So they go from $27 to $40. So
Yeah.
I guess if you're a 5XL, it'll be $40. If you're an extra small, it'll be 27. And all the colors are there where you can realistically see the graphics. There's no point putting this on a black shirt, for instance, because quite a number of our graphics are in black and they don't come up. So anyway, we shall
The
have a
beauty
bit of a shot.
also
Thanks, Deb.
about
You'll be the
this-
first person to order them.
Yeah. The beauty also about this, the way this drop shipping is, of course, that we don't have to deal with all the postage and the shipping, etc. Is it 100% supporting Australia? No, but the merch is being purchased over here, so the funds. Yeah, so do I. They do actually. The company we chose do actually have some of their printing is done in Australia, so that's one of the reasons why we chose them, because at least they're employing Australians in that respect. But it gives us the advantage to get it out there. It gives you guys the advantage to start making a statement, like you burn it, we'll wear it. That's a statement, and I want to see that shirt go everywhere, right? And then you can probably, maybe you should put one of those on the front and a Cackristocracy one on the back. There's so many design options. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I got to keep myself away from it.
And if you come up with a design, a bit like Skipper Pete did, and we might be able to discuss that later on, we are very keen for you to send them to us. We're up for all sorts of ideas. Toxic, I'm a bit disappointed in you. We're going to need a strong and severe talking to. Me and a mankini ain't going to happen. But I think probably what that is in more deep shit than you. He seems to think I'm going to be wearing one on the cruise.
And I want a photo.
No, not going to happen.
Blackmail. Here it comes.
Listen, you make it really hard. Aussie Sue, God love her. You're making it very hard. How are people going to like and subscribe to this shit? Seriously. Me and a mankini. T-shirt for the cruise. Hey, Connie, what a bloody good idea.
Done. We'll do that. And what we'll do is that will become a bonus to the cruise. You guys won't have to pay for it. So I'll need to know how many people are going. I just made an executive decision there, Carl. Sorry on that.
And it was rapid. Yes, so we will need to know who's going then, because at the moment I have no idea. I know a few, but as far as I'm aware, it could be anywhere from 8 to 20 people, and possibly more. So we would need to know if you are going to come. We would need to know this before
Well, allow 3 weeks for us to get them printed and delivered.
So we'd need to know by the end of March. So we've got all of April to get them printed and delivered, and the first week of May to make sure they get delivered before we get on the boat and can start handing them out. So, because we'll hand them out on the boat. That'll be the easiest.
So we'll need people's names and sizes.
Yes, names and sizes. So please, Connie, love you, darling. What a great idea. And I can tell you that I reckon, just between you, me, and the gatepost, Connie, I reckon Alan would get away with a large, and I reckon you would get away with similar, maybe an XL. You wouldn't need too much more than that. Because they, like I say, they are quite big. The Katrina, the cruise is May, and I took the bloody thing out, May 4th to May 8th. It's only 4 days long. It's a carnival cruise. There is only one of them leaving on that date out of Brisbane. And I want to say the boat is the Carnival Encounter. Does that sound right? I haven't heard anything about the boat, what it's like, but I figure it'll have a bar. It may have some entertainment. And if it doesn't, Wapda is bringing his... Oh, what am I doing? Wapda is bringing his entertainment, and I'm going to bring mine. Okay. It may not be entertainment until after Wapda teaches me how to play the harmonica. Right up until that point, it could well be like screaming cats and trying to murder, instead of bagpipes. But after I've learned how to do a little bit with these, you might find Greg and I jamming on the poop deck together.
Yeah, and for everybody else, you have my permission to go to the other side of the boat.
Will it fit over your life jacket? Well, it depends on where the life jacket is being stretched in the first place, and I'm sure I could probably fit a life jacket in here, but I'd be double E by then, I'd reckon. Not just a D cup. So I could be, seriously enlarged by that. It's got water slides, said what though? Well, I hope you have a good time on them. I've got a real thing about going down these water slides that are tubes. I don't know. Could it be because I'm a fat bastard and getting stuck in one, while not terribly life-threatening, would be extremely embarrassing. And I saw that happened on a cruise boat not all that long ago, where a lady of reasonable stature, can I point out, nothing wrong with that. It was one of these tubes that has like a down loop in it that you go down and through, and she got caught. There wasn't enough momentum to get her up over the thing, so she got caught in the low point, which thankfully had a hatch that she could get out of. But that happened on a cruise boat. I'm not going. Not on that. No.
I've left that one up there for you, Carl. I've left that one up there. I'm still
struggling with the image of Carl doing a bomb off the big dive platform of the pool wearing the mankini. I don't think you should be struggling with the thought. I don't think you should be struggling with the thought of me doing the bomb off there. I think you should be struggling with the thought of what I look like when I come up and how much of that mankini has disappeared up places where it has no right being. And I mean, fair dinkum, I could come out of that pool looking like somebody had split a frog in their head with a hatchet. I mean, it wouldn't be very good look at all. You get the frog's eye idea, don't you, Vince?
Yeah, I'm just leaving that one alone.
That's probably wise. You keep an eye on the chat, and I'll try and throw a few things up here that I actually do want to talk about tonight. If you're in South Australia, because I'm being told I'm flogging One Nation, I'm going to tell you that you can go and play snooker tonight with Malcolm Roberts at the Luna Bar in about an hour's time. So shoot off to that if you're feeling the urge. The show will be over by then. Should we mention other things, or will we leave that to do with that?
We've courtesy of the connection that I have with one of the candidates, he has offered me a ticket into tomorrow night's show. So I get a chance to go and...
Now, just explain tomorrow night's One Nation show. It's not any show. You're not going to see Cats or something.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, I thought it was Cats. Oh, no, sorry. But so hopefully with that, this is a big One Nation. This is all the big wigs. This, Pauline's there, Malcolm's there, Corey Bernardi's going to be there. All the candidates are going to be there. So I'm going to hopefully be able to have access to those guys and get a few comments and bits and pieces. And we might put on a bit of a show. The one thing I have to say here is that trying to break into these types of things as a journalist or as a freedom journalist for the people is exceptionally hard, but we're being opened with welcome arms from One Nation. So that sort of says something in its own right. Okay.
Vince is being welcomed. I just want to point that out. Vince is being welcomed.
Yeah, I'm being welcomed. Yes, yeah. So, but we're doing this from the Freedom Broadcasting Network situation, not from Voice of Freedom, even though we tag team a lot, but this is specifically the Freedom Broadcasting Network. So hopefully we will have a bit of a show to put up on Monday night on Voice of Freedom showing what happened there. So
we'll show some highlights, but for the full interviews, you'll have to go over to FBN and watch them there.
Providing I get some, but yeah.
Well, providing you get some, but it might be pretty rapid fire. We may not get much access. You may not, be able to sit there and have
40. There's going to be 47 candidates, 2 senators or 3 possible senators that are running for Senate seats. So you're talking 50 people in like a couple of hours spread. That's not going to be an easy task. So,
and every one of them is going to want to talk to Pauline and Malcolm and Corey.
Correct.
So, and James Ashby, if you can get a hold of him, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
So,
well,
so hip and shoulder, mate. You know, the old press rooms, hip and shoulder. Just remember that, hip and shoulder, and it'll do well.
I'm going to be polite.
And you
I'll
might
just stand on their toes.
Yeah. If you get the opportunity, you might ask what truth there is in this. I believe that it is true. Senator Wong and Tony Burke have been referred to the National Anti-Corruption Commission, or the NAC as it's known, regarding the ISIS bride scandal. Now, apparently, and I haven't been able to find this exact thing where they've aired these allegations, that under the legal obligations and procedures they were meant to follow, well, they didn't when it came to issuing the passports to the cohort of 34 who are currently sitting in a Syrian camp waiting to come back here. Now, that's pretty serious for this to be put forward. What I saw is John Adams posting this, but it was posted under a photo that also had James Patterson, Senator James Patterson, and the new leader. Isn't that awful? I've forgotten his name already, Angus. So I don't know whether or not there was any involvement there with that. I did post something else up that Patterson supposedly had done by referring charges or getting a task force set up, which I think is absolute crap. But this has legs. Nobody is talking about it. The ABC don't want to know about it. I've reached out to some people that I know in there, and you know damn well when they start pushing it down that there is truth to it. So watch this space. How this will not just put a spotlight on Penny Wong and Tony Burke, two human beings who should endure a fiercely burning spotlight on every decision they've made since they've been in power. But it's also going to show the people what sort of toothless tiger or not the National Anti-Crime and Corruption Commission is. Because this sort of investigation will need to be public. If they have indeed been referred to the NAC and there is an investigation going on, then that needs to be open and transparent to the public, because the only reason they're in there is because they weren't open and transparent and, you know, they've been dobbed in, so to speak. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Two things. One Nation and basically fruit pickers, etc. A lot of the candidates that are running in One Nation, as I've been doing my research on them, they're actually business people who run successful businesses. So if they can run a successful business, they should be able to run a country. Number two, Freedom Broadcasting Network, or FBN Media, has a page on Facebook, right, which I'm now posting. And it's got a whole 86 followers. Can I get some guys go and tag that and put it over 100? So that way, when I do the streams now for FBN, I can actually also stream to Facebook. That would be much appreciated. Okay, thanks.
So, Gibbo, I hear what you're saying about them basically being low-hanging fruit pickers, and that they have no runs on the board regarding fiscal management or international policy or anything like that. I would also argue that the current incumbents and the previous before them, the Uni Party, who apparently, if your argument is to hold water, do have all the experience and do have all the knowledge to run the country. Why have they done such a fucking bad job of it? And why would you let them do it again? Do you seriously believe that Pauline Hanson and One Nation could do a worse job? They're going to invite more foreigners into our country without doing background checks and making sure that those that do come through our borders are actually safe to do so.
Yeah,
I actually think Pauline will. Yeah, I think that Pauline will do all that. I think she'll do exactly all of that. Do you think Labor will? Do you think the Liberals will? Because I honestly don't believe a friggin' word that comes out of the Liberal Party. They are in panic mode. They have seen the groundswell, not groundswell, the friggin' tsunami of support for One Nation. And they've been, for the first time in the last 10 years, have been politically able to accurately identify why they have that support. For the last 10 years, they've been denying it, probably longer. But now, when the level of support around Australia, but look, well, I can only show you Victoria right now, but that is the level of support One Nation currently holds in Victoria. They are 1 point behind the Labor Party as preferred leaders of the nation federally.
Yeah.
This is a tsunami of support.
Now
whether or not they can do anything with it, whether or not they stuff it all up, if they were to be elected, well, I would just argue then that there is no way we can vote our way out of this shit fight, and we need a new plan.
Yep, agreed.
But I also believe they deserve the opportunity to try.
Yeah, 100%. Just a point. Topher Phil brings up an interesting point I want to raise here, is that while we may get a groundswell for number one in the box, he believes that the preferences side will make a huge difference, and there won't be a lot of preference voting, as in to follow that number one lot through. So that's an interesting point to raise, and I think he may be valid in that area. But maybe we just need to educate people on how to do preferences properly, not follow a card, but make their choice.
Yep.
So, but preferencing is going to be the second catch-all that'll take them out from doing anything major, I think, is how other people preference. If they put One Nation below one of the major parties, then the preference will go to the major parties. And I think that's going to be a big challenge in the up-and-coming elections.
Yep. I'm thinking...
Wow, that's right.
I was just about to say you've leaning into that new light position. Well, so preference education is everything. I'm sure One Nation are going to be educating people on how best to make sure that One Nation achieves that goal, if that is the goal at the end of the day, to gain maximum support, to get the most number of number one votes. That is the key. If they can get the most number of number one votes and win that
followed up with a good preference vote, then they've got a good chance.
Yeah. And that means that they're going to need to combat the preference deal that the Liberal, Labor, Green Nationals will do in many seats. Now, there's going to be a test for that. There's going to be a test for that in Victoria with that election, because the Nationals are going to run in many seats. So
I can pretty much guarantee that Liberal, everyone, when you look at this, because One Nation's making such a news, I bet you just about every single major uni party, that's Greens, Nationals, Liberal and Labor, they will all have One Nation last on the card, absolute last. And they will definitely be putting the other side, like if you're a Labor, they'll have Libs as the next best preference.
Yeah.
Right, before anybody else. I'll guarantee that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
nice to see.
That's providing, of course, they don't take out Pauline 3 months before the whole federal election, calling him a hate group, which is also one of their tactics.
And they've already laid the ground for that. And given what Pauline has said this week and been misquoted as saying this week, she hasn't come out and said it, that there are no good Muslims. Pauline Hanson never uttered those words.
I thought I actually saw the video where she said it.
You imagined it. She never uttered those words. Those words were put in her mouth with as you say, good Muslims. She didn't call good. She didn't say there are no good Muslims. She's asked to identify, or asked to be educated as to how you identify the good Muslim from the bad ones.
Yeah, exactly.
And until that can be done, then they're clearly not safe. Now, that is a logical argument to me.
It has its challenge, though. You can say the same thing, identify a good Christian against a bad one. How do you do that?
I haven't had bad Christians driving down Burke Street over people, waving swords in the middle of streets, cutting people up. I haven't had good Christians murdering people on the streets of Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and anywhere else they can do it. And in fact, some of the things that we're going to get to talk about here, suburbs with the most natural disasters, but the highest property crime rates, Cairns, Townsville, Rockhampton, Melbourne, but then Logan, Queensland again, Yarra in Victoria, the rest of it's back in Queensland, Brisbane, Mackay, Townsville, Ipswich. These are the highest property crime rates. These are the most dangerous suburbs to live, Queensland and Victoria, for God's sake. Now, you know, they're not dangerous because the Christians are out there hurting each other.
No. Yeah, there is obviously a major percentage difference in the amount of volume relative to the belief of who's good and who's bad. But how you determine that per individual is the question.
Well, the question is, where do you decide that? I would argue not here.
Not here.
Not here. Back where you came from. We'll figure that out back over there. And that's where Albo Sleazy, Wong, and oh God, that piece of filth Burke, that's where they're going to come undone, because they have actually broken significant passport laws to get 34 passports, not only identified, get the paperwork done, get all that back out. And that included DNA tests that were done some months ago, brought back to Australia to have the paperwork all put together, the passports put together, and then 34 of them given to this Dr. Ricky or Ridgie or whatever his name is, the people smuggler from North Sydney, that is, or not North Sydney, he's from Western Sydney. He's Tony Burke's best Muslim campaign manager, mate. So he gets 34 passports, a Muslim, to go into a war zone, a declared terrorist zone. You can't pick up you can't walk down to your local, do they even have travel agents anymore, and get a ticket to Syria. All right? You're not allowed. It's against the law to travel to Syria. Or it has been, certain parts of Syria, maybe not all of it. However, he's going to the parts you can't travel to. The Australian government has helped facilitate that. In fact, they've sent along a bureaucrat on more than one occasion to help. There's a few of them over there at the moment trying to figure out how they're going to get these 34, well, 33 now, minus however many kids that one has to have, back into the country. The government has finally said they're going to put an interim order on one of these women. But these women left Australia to join the jihad. I remember some of the things these women said when, they sent messages back to the Australian media. They have no right being here. They gave up all rights to be here. And I don't give a shit if they were born here or not. They gave up their rights. They joined the caliphate. It was that simple. So,
and they've got that, how many years of education in that particular environment?
Well, I think that they were in Raqqa until 2017, by which time ISIS was sort of on the wave. The husband, the guy I showed last night, Khaloof, he and his two boys were killed in 2017. His wife was killed in 2015, or died in 2015, probably killed by him. But that means that there are still 3 children unaccounted for, and those children were brought back into Australia in 2019. I don't know whether the 2 boys that I showed last night, holding the weapons and one of them holding a severed head, I don't know that they were the boys that were killed with him when he was killed. He managed to catch a missile. It's interesting the reasons he may have caught that missile. The ABC went into that area and discovered where he lived and wound up talking to a neighbour about a year or so after all this had happened, or after he'd been killed and the ABC could get in there at least. The neighbour said that the guy was a bully, this Kaleem Sharif or whatever his name was. A hell of a bully, used to come out firing guns around, swinging his gun. How big am I? How tough am I? He was, if you like, the area commander for ISIS in that area, and he wanted to work his way up to the top of the caliphate and was doing a lot of things, real hard things, killing people, basically being a warlord over the few streets that he had rule over. Apparently, some of those people started complaining to the ISIS commanders about it. And in one morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, he was dragged out of there, kicking, screaming, begging for his life. He wasn't returned for 3 days later, but when he did come back, he was a very different man. And it wasn't long after that a missile came through his window and killed everything, including him, in the room. So they might have just hung him out to dry because he was causing too much trouble. But the kids, don't know who they are, don't know where the rest of them are. And these women have been in a camp since 2017 that is lawless. All right? It's just lawless. Yeah. It's where all these ex-caliphate people went. So they have still been in the radicalized camps. And now some do-gooder from Tony Burke's particular little bloody electorate wants to bring them back in. And it's not the first time he's done it. Where does this man get the balls to become the Australian Repatriation Office for wayward Muslims? And where did the Labor Party get the gall to try and think they can get away with all of this quietly? Oh, we're not giving them any assistance at all. They're going to face the full force of the law. Okay, if they're going to face the full force of the law, every one of them that left Australia to go there broke the law, because at the time it was a declared area and it's against the law to go into a declared terrorist area. Right? So I want them arrested if they get on a plane and get off it again here in Australia. I want them arrested the second their sandaled feet hit the fucking pavement. All right? And sent to jail for years.
That's interesting.
We've got plenty of great detention centres. They can take their kids with them. Christmas Island would be a good place. Fuck them off there.
I was thinking about that because they lost their citizenship when they went over, and now they're obviously getting visas to come back in. And I love how they do that. They say, about, the law. But the point is, these people coming back in haven't broken any Australian laws at this stage other than when they left, when they were a citizen.
Well, so that's a pretty big law.
But it's a different kettle of fish now because they've been away. And I'm pretty sure that the statute of limitations would have expired on that.
I don't think so, because you could argue it's a national security thing.
So like same as a trader?
Yes. National security changes everything. And for Albo to say he doesn't have the power to not give them an Australian passport is absolutely a bald-faced lie.
Yep, agreed.
All right? There is a specific rule in the Passport Act that enables just that, for them to not issue a passport to an Australian because they are not a fit and proper person, or because they've been involved in criminal escapades or terrorist networks. So the Labor Party are telling you absolute lies about that. And tell your Labor friends, or ask your Labor friends, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Very weird, very weird. 50 minutes. I want to bring this up, Vince. I saw this pop up today. No work, no spending, no taxes, no backing out. A 30-day national general strike from April the 5th to May the 5th. I'm not going to strike on the 4th or 5th of May. I'll be on a boat. and striking would mean I couldn't go to the bar. Unity does make an impact, but up until the 4th of May at 3 p.m. when the boat departs, I'm very happy
to go
be
on it, mate. Sorry, the boat's not going anywhere. It's on strike.
That's exactly right. Well, if we do it right, the boat won't go anywhere because the dockside workers will go off. Nobody will untie it. There won't be a tugboat driver to drive the tug to push it into the river to get it out.
Yep.
So you're 100% right. And then when we get up to the Whitsundays, where we're going to have lunch at the Whitsunday Sailing Club, they'll be on strike.
Yep. I love the whole idea, but we do not have the numbers to do it.
We would have some nurses and some doctors, and do they go on strike? What happens in aged care facilities? What happens in the home your mother or father is living in? Do they go on strike for 30 days?
Ambulances, coppers.
Oh, no. Well, it's okay. No. Some of the people don't have to go on strike. Well, okay. How many of the people don't have to go on strike? Did the garbage collectors? Should the garbage collectors be on strike for the month? I mean, what's a month's worth of garbage that stays uncollected out the front of your house? Where, after all, we're committed to the cause. Come on.
Go look at Los Angeles. That'll tell you.
What's a month's worth of garbage? Oh, okay. Well, maybe this is starting to sound like a fucking Monty Python script. Oh, well, it's not the People's Front of Judea's fault, Fred. It's the fucking Popular People's Front. Drives me insane. Oh, yeah, let's all have a 30-day strike. Okay. Well, the 600,000 or 700,000 of us that might strike, and I'm being really generous when I say it's that many.
Yep.
What are we going to do? You're going to call up your boss and say, I'm not coming to work for a month. And your boss says, why? And you say, oh, because there's a general strike. Haven't you heard? And the boss is going to say, oh, is there? Okay, great. Thanks. Hang up. And particularly in my old industry, they would simply pick up the phone, ring the program director and say, apparently there's a general strike happening and all the announcers are going on strike for a month. And the PD would say, oh, are they? Okay. And he'd put his phone down and open up the drawer and pick up the first of 2,000 tapes that he'd received that week of new, young, hopeful talent wanting to get into the radio job. And he'd have a listen and pick out the best 5 or 6 of them, ring them up and say, you start next week because there's a big strike happening. So you've got 1 month to prove yourself. If you can prove yourself in the month, you get to keep the job. Now, how many of those people are going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to strike for a month, brother. I'm solid with you. No worries. Yeah. Except for my wife. She's a nurse. And my son, because he's a garbage collector, he's going to have to go to work because nobody wants to live in shit. What about ambulance, fire brigade? Oh, no, they don't get to go on strike because they're public service jobs. So that means people in the council. We shouldn't get those people in councils who actually probably, some of them, quite a lot of them do think like we do. I'm talking about the people who work in the councils, not the ones who run it. Some of them, they all meant to give up and say, oh, well, there's going to be a month-long strike. We might go to Canberra for the day. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Have I made my point?
Yeah, more than, right? And it is a point too. There's don't forget that over the next 4 to 5 years, 45% thereabouts, my estimate, people are going to lose their jobs to AI. So everybody wants to make as much as they can get, and you won't get paid while you're on strike. So, okay, a big thank you to AJMP Pipe Master for the $10. So thank you.
Thank you. Of course, you can donate at vofhq.com if you want to give us a bit of a hand, folks. But go and buy a bit of merch. That'll put a couple of dollars our way, and you'll get some good, really high quality stuff. This merch is really, really good. Victorians, before we head off tonight, are you aware? I wasn't, that Jacinda Allen is married to Yorick Piper, a former CFMEU union official.
Oh, that makes sense.
From the John Sector days. John Sector, who was unceremoniously booted would be a strong word, let go from the CFMEU publicly. but I'm led to believe privately still is like the spider in the middle of the web and pulls all the strings. So a lot of questions around him, a lot of questions around Mick Gatto in Melbourne, and Mick Gatto has been an underworld figure in Melbourne for the last 40 years. Nobody's ever laid a hand on him when it comes to underworldy kind of things, although if you were to go and watch one of the early seasons of Underbelly, Mick Gatto does feature quite prominently in one of those early Underbelly series. He was involved in a shooting with a gentleman who had come to kill him, and unfortunately the gentleman concerned was a bit smaller than Mick, and they were in a confined room, and there was a tussle and the gun went off, and bugger me dead, the other fella died. So anyway, Mick Gatto came on 3AW yesterday or the day before and answered a lot of questions, because his name pops up in 120, I think it's 128 pages, this big report in Victoria about the corruption through the big build and all that is. 128 pages, 126 of them have got Mick Gatto's name on it. So if you include the title page and the end page, he's on every page. Jackie Felgate, the afternoons lady on 3AW, did quiz him pretty well. But Mick is an old performer. You know, he's had to face some of the best detectives that Victoria Police could buy, and they've never laid a glove on him. In fact, that's a good term for Mick. He likes to think himself a bit of a heavyweight boxer back in the day, and he was pretty bloody good at it. I remember being at one of his fights, actually, many moons ago. So good go, Jackie Felgate. Well done, but props to Mick Gatto. He held his end up pretty well. He's not going to let the team down, but there will be people inside the CFMEU who are nowhere near as staunch as Mick Gatto and who will be worried about the consequences and who will roll over. So you never know. Mick may not get away from this yet. And there'll be many people who say, and so it should be so. I don't have an opinion.
Just a reminder, people, that also on the merch store is tickets for the Donkey Sanctuary, supporting the wonderful charity that is the Donkey Sanctuary. So feel free to go in there for everybody but Victorians. Victorians, I'm sorry, you can't purchase. So, but for everybody else,
not even through a VPN, because it all comes down to your bank account and where that's registered. So it somehow finds out that your bank is registered in Victoria. I think that's how it works. Then it won't. We'll be in all sorts of trouble, and so will you. Only briefly with Vince, because he's the one that dishes out the trouble around here. I don't do it. No.
You make me out sound like I'm the bad guy. Really?
There's nothing bad about you, brother.
Oh, I don't know. Give me a go. I'll soon find out.
All right. Well, I'm going to love you and leave you. Yeah. Looking forward to next week. All sorts of good things. You have a very safe and happy weekend, and wave away. Isn't it wonderful? He can wave and he can't speak. He can either do one or the other, not both. Not bye. Bye. No, none of that. Just got to say, it's a certain style, and he pulls it off so well. Probably could have used a different analogy, but there you go. All right, folks, going to love you and leave you. Have yourself a fabulous weekend. If you are heading off, doing anything special, make sure that if you are on the roads, avoid the dickheads as much as you humanly can. Like last night, who knew that the dickheads are on the footpaths as well, driving an Australia Post delivery three-wheeler. Oh, yes. Well, look, if they can't drive B-doubles when they get here, what on earth makes us think they're going to be able to drive that? The dickheads on the road are everywhere. Just be safe and pray you don't run into one. Well, I know you won't. You're not the dickhead. Just pray one doesn't run into you. Good weekend.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!